Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and this is Varun Tahin. So in our earlier sessions, we had seen some examples of critical value method and how it helps in decision making process. Now in today's session, we will extend and apply our knowledge on some more real life scenarios to concretize our concepts. We will additionally also touch base upon another method which is called as p-value method to help our decision making process, and which is similar to critical value method, but instead of critical points we will use ZC scores for sample mean. So let's start by an example again. Now a manufacturer claims that the average life of its products is 36 months. But an auditor selects a sample of 49 units from the product and calculates the average life, and he found it to be 34.5 months. Assuming that the population standard deviation is 4 months, we have to test the manufacturer's claim at 3% significance level using the critical value method. Now here small n becomes 49. Okay, the sample mean, that is x bar, becomes 34.5, mu becomes 36 months, sigma becomes 4 months, okay, and 0.03 is the significance level. Okay, so here the null hypothesis here is that mu is 36 months. Okay, and the alternate hypothesis becomes mu is not equals to 36 months. Correct? And from this symbols of equal to and not equal to, we can say that it is a two-tailed test. Correct? Because we have learned earlier that null hypothesis will have symbols of equal to, greater than, equal to, and less than equal to. And the alternate hypothesis will have not equal to, greater than, and less than. Okay, so for two-tailed test we can divide this region in two parts. Okay, so it will be 0.015 on the left side and the same on the right side. Now we have to calculate the Z score, right? As in the critical value method, we need to calculate the Z score. Okay, so first we will find the cumulative probability. So till right hand side we have to find the cumulative probability, which will be 1 minus 0.015, which is 0.985. Okay, so the Z score for 0.985 will be, from the Z table it will come out to 2.17. Okay, so the next thing is we need to calculate the critical values. So the critical value formula is CV equals to mu plus ZC into standard error. Okay, so the standard error, guys, is sigma by square root n, which is 4 by square root of 49 or 4 by 7. Okay, now we will calculate the upper critical value, which is 36 plus ZC will be 2.17 for this into 4 divided by 7, and LCV will be 36, and this will come out as minus 2.17 into 4 by 7. So rounding off, this number will come as 37.24 and this will come as 34.76. Now in order to not reject the null hypothesis, we need to have this condition that LCV is less than the sample mean and which is less than the UCV. Okay, now if you fill in here all the values, you will get 34.5 and LCV is 34.76 and here it is 37.24. Okay, so this is an AND condition, guys, where this is meeting but this is not true. Correct? So 34.76 is not less than 34.5. So therefore we can say that we reject the null hypothesis. Now in the previous example we have seen double tail test or two tail test. Now what would happen if we are talking about some scenarios which involves only one tail test, like the one we are seeing on the screen right now. So this says that average AC sales per month is almost 350. Okay, so when we say almost 350, it is less than or equal to 350 and significance level is taken as 0.05. So as per our previous discussion, guys, what would become as the null hypothesis here? Exactly. So mu is less than equals to 350. Okay, so just remember these sign, guys. Okay, and H1 will become here mu is greater than 350. Okay, so when this is spoken, we'll always look at the sign of the alternate hypothesis and this determines the upper tail test. which is an example of a one-tail test. Now the significance level is 0.05. So the first thing we'll do here is calculate the cumulative probability. Okay. Now since this is a upper tail test or the right hand test, we will minus this value from here. Okay, so this will be unsplitted value, so all the region will be concentrated in the right. Okay, so 1 minus 0.05, which is 0.95. Okay, so this becomes the cumulative probability. Now in the Z table, to find the probability you need to know the Z score. Okay, but if you know the probability, then also you can find the Z score. So we have done this in the previous question also. Now if you look at the Z table, you will find that 0.95 is not present as the cumulative probability in the Z table. Thus, we will need to find two nearest values and take the average. Okay, so when you look at the Z table, you will find that 1.64 and 1.65 Z scores has the cumulative probability of 0.9495 and 0.9505. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to take the average. So the average ZC will become 1.64 plus 1.65 divided by 2, okay, which is 1.645. Now here in this question, mu is 350 and let's say that sigma is 90 and the sample size what we are taking here is 36 and sample mean is 370.16. Okay, now let's calculate the UCV and LCV for this. Okay, so again CV has mu plus ZC into the standard error. Correct. Now standard error here becomes sigma by square root n, which is 90 by square root of 36, which is 90 by 6 or 15, and hence UCV will become 350 plus 1.645 into 15 and LCV will become 350 plus minus 1.645 into 15. So this will solve as 374.675 and this will come as 325.325. Okay, then again what we'll do is we will keep this equation over here in front of us and we will substitute the values. Okay, so the LCV here is 325.325 and the sample mean here is 370.16 and UCV is 374.675. Now you can clearly see that this condition holds true. Okay, so therefore we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Now there is one other method that will help us in making decisions and that is called as p-value method. So let's understand this with the help of example like we did for critical value method. So let's say that the sampling distribution mean and the population mean is 350. The sample mean is 370.16. The standard deviation is 90. Samples are 36. And significance level is 0.05. Okay, now we will calculate the standard error, so it comes out to be 15 according to this, and when we plot this on a graph and assuming that it is a two-tail test, we can say that 0.025 will be distributed on both the ends of the lower tail and the upper tail. Okay, and when we calculate the Z score, that will come out to be 370.16 minus 350 divided by 15, which will be 1.344. We will see that this Z score will help us calculate the p-value, which will signify the probability that the null hypothesis is correct. Okay, so here p-value will denote the probability that the null hypothesis is correct. Now if p-value is higher, the probability of null hypothesis will also be higher. So this is a direct relationship. And the other difference is that p-value calculates the Z score for the sample mean instead of the critical points in the critical value method. Now we can understand this with the help of this figure where y-axis is probability density and the x-axis denotes the set of possible results. Okay, so these regions are very unlikely regions, whereas this region is the most likely region. And let's say that this is the ZC or the Z score, which is the observed data point. So the p-value will be denoted by this region. Now instead of calculating the upper critical value and lower critical value like we did for critical value method, in p-value method we will calculate the p-values. Okay, and that will also depend upon whether the sample mean is on the right of the population mean or the left. Okay, so here we can see that the sample mean, that is x bar, is falling on the right side of the population mean or mu, because 370.16 is greater than 350, right? And in this case always guys, the z score will be positive, and we can see here that we have calculated it as 1.344. now what we need to do next is we will find the cumulative probability. Okay, so the cumulative probability for z less than equals to 1.344 will be, from the z table it will come as 0.9099. okay, so this will become as the p-value for z less than equals to 1.344. okay, now guys, as the sample mean is falling right of the population mean, the p-value we will be interested in will be for z value greater than 1.344. okay, so this is a situation guys, we will discuss this in detail. So if the cumulative probability of z less than equals to 1.344 is this, then what will be the probability for z greater than 1.344? It will be 1 minus 0.9099, which is 0.0901. okay, so this is the p-value for a single region. Okay, for this region. Now as this is a two-tailed test guys, this will be multiplied by 2. okay, so the final p-value will become 0.0901 into 2, which is 0.1802. now guys, as alpha is 0.05 or 5%, that means that critical value is 5% of the distribution. Okay, and we have also further divided it into left side and right side, so 0.025 in both the regions, right? Now the null hypothesis says that the x bar is lying in this region, that is 18.02. now how can we verify this? That is, if 18.02% is greater than 5%, which is 0.1802 is greater than 0.05. so this is correct, right? So in this case what we say is we fail to reject the null hypothesis. So this is how we take decisions using p-value method guys. Now we will step by step see what we have already done, and we will see some situations where it can be applied. Now these are the steps we did. First we need to calculate the value of z score for the sample mean point on the distribution. Then we calculate the p-value from the cumulative probability for the given z score using z table. And then we finally make a decision on the basis of p-value and multiply it by 2 for a two-tailed test with respect to given value of alpha, that is significance value. Now these are the two situations which I was talking about earlier. The first is the sample mean, that is x bar, is on the right side of the distribution mean, that is mu x bar, that we have seen earlier, the example for this. And in this case the z score will be positive. So there is one sample example that is given, that z score for the sample point is plus 3.02 and the cumulative probability of this is 0.9987. So for the one tail test we will just subtract it from 1 and we'll get the p-value, but for two tail test we need to multiply it by 2. okay, now the situation 2 is just opposite of this, that is the sample mean x bar is on the left side of the distribution mean. So in this case the z score will be always negative, and the example for this is the similar, it's just the negative sign for the z score, and the cumulative probability here will be less, right? It will be 0.0013. so for the one tail test we will have 0.0013, the same value, but for the two tail test it will be multiplied by 2. So why did we not do 1 minus that number? Is because this is falling on the left side, so this case will be different. Now before concluding on the p-value method, we will see one more example depicting the situation second. Okay, so the question says that an average life of product is 36 months and the number of sample is given as 49 with a sample mean of 34.5 months and a standard deviation of population as 4 months with 3% of significance level. Now using p-value method, we need to determine what decision we will make. Now as the average life of product is exactly 36 months, the null hypothesis becomes mu is equals to 36 and the alternate hypothesis becomes mu is not equals to 36. Okay, so this 36 will be the population mean and the distribution mean. Now what we will do first is we need to calculate the Z score. Okay, so Z score will be population mean minus the distribution mean divided by standard error. Okay, so here standard error will be sigma by square root n, which is 4 by square root of 49, which is 4 by 7. Okay, so we will substitute values here. So 34.5 minus 36 divided by 4 by 7. So this will come to minus 1.5 divided by 4 by 7. So this will be minus 1.5 into 7 by 4 and this will be solved as minus 2.62. Okay. Now we need to find the cumulative probability of this value or this Z score. So guys, you can see that Z score is in negative value and that means that sample mean is on the left side of the distribution mean. And we can also tally it from here. So 34.5 is less than 36 months. Okay, so we will need to find the cumulative probability now. So the cumulative probability of minus 2.62 will be from the Z table, it will come as 0.0044. Okay, and as we can see that this is a two-tailed test because of the signs of equal to and not equal to. Therefore we need to multiply this value by 2. Okay, so the actual p-value will become 0.0044 into 2, which is 0.0088 or simply 0.88%. Okay, and the last step is we will compare this value with the alpha, that is the significance level, correct? So 0.88% is less than 3%, therefore we reject the null hypothesis. So that is all for today, guys. Hope you like this session. If these sessions are really helping you all to understand the statistical concepts better, please don't forget to like my content. And if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe it, as I will be coming with more awesome content in data science. In the next session, we will talk about various types of errors and a different test known as t-test in the cases where standard deviation of the population is not known. Until then, guys, please let me know if you want me to make specific videos. I will surely cover those. Thanks for watching. I will meet you soon in the next upcoming sessions. Stay safe and happy learning.